Hi, everyone. My name's Linda Pierce, and I'm a registered nurse and a naturopath. And today we're going to talk a little bit about your part in fighting breast cancer. I hope that you never need to deal with it, but I want you to know that you have such an important role should you ever have to deal with it. And you have an important role in helping to decrease your risk for breast cancer. One of the things that made such an impression on me as I studied naturopathy, the study of natural health, was the fact that we have so much influence and impact in our health. You know, about 90% of our diseases are not genetic. How many of us have said on more than one occasion that it runs in my family? And truth be told, what really runs in our family is our lifestyle, the way we eat, the way we move, the way we deal with stress. All of these things are things that we pick up on and learn as we grow up in a family situation. So even though 90% of disease is not genetic, even that part that has a genetic component, guess what? A lot of that can be impacted by lifestyle. So we know that over 250 genes have been demonstrated to be turned on or off by certain environmental factors. So again, I can't emphasize enough how much impact you have on your health. So I am a 10 and a half year breast cancer survivor, and I chose not to do chemo or radiation, but I did do surgery. And I knew that at that point in time, because I was studying at that point in time, I knew that I had to change some things, because here's the thing, the same environment that allowed this cancer to grow was still present in my body. I call it the soil, right? That soil there that the cancer cells were able to seed and grow still was present. So what could I do to change that? Here are some things just to keep in mind. Number one, we know that people with a higher weight are more prone to cancers, especially those that have a hormonal influence. And breast cancer is one of those. So when you have excess fat cells, you will have excess unhealthy estrogen. You will also have excess sugar in your body as well. So these things feed our cancer cells. So first thing, of course, and I know you're involved with Michelle and a fitness group, so I know you all are taking action on this. So absolutely, you want to get fit. You want to be able to create more lean muscle mass. And you want to continue to move. Movement is very important for circulation, for helping to get a good body weight, for helping to regulate your blood sugar and decrease insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is very prevalent if your weight is higher, but it can exist in people that also have a normal or close to normal body weight. I know that I was pre-diabetic back when I had gotten diagnosed, so I knew that was an issue I needed to deal with. The thing is that cancer cells are unique in their metabolism. They do not know how to effectively use fats and proteins. They only use sugars or carbohydrates to be able to grow. That's what helps feed them. So yes, your diet does make a difference. To be able to consume a diet that is lower in carbohydrates, especially unhealthy carbohydrates, like your processed foods, your sweets, your sugary drinks, all those things, you know, are not going to help you. They will actually feed the cancer cells. In fact, even though many doctors will tell people who are battling cancer, eat whatever you want in moderation, oddly enough, they check for cancer with this test called a PET scan that literally uses the cancer's metabolism to detect cancer cells. They have you come on in fasting, they inject you with some radioactive sugar, and of course the cancer cells gobble that up a lot quicker and they light up. So very, very important, decreasing those unhealthy sugars in your body. Now let's increase the healthy stuff, clean, lean proteins. What do I mean by that? Well, you want to have a largely plant-based diet with at least 7 to 10 fruits and veggies there, a variety of different colors. We want to eat the rainbow because each one of those colors indicates a different nutrient that is giving an advantage to your body. It is helping your body in different ways to increase the healthy cells and decrease the unhealthy cells. And, you know, I always mention the powerhouse that mushrooms are because they actually increase your body's natural killer cells, which are these little cancer and virus fighters in our body naturally. And they're a good source of vitamin D as well. So that's one thing that we utilize. The other thing is that when I talk about also vegetables that are very, very important in fighting cancer, I want you to look at your cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, all those things. And there are more than that as well, but all of them have important substances in there that help with detoxification of unhealthy hormones. So they help your liver process out the excess unhealthy hormones as well. So that's an important thing. And then when we talk about the clean, lean proteins, proteins are generally meat, fish, you know, poultry, eggs, dairy, nuts, beans. There's lots of different proteins, but when we talk about clean sources, okay, you want a largely plant-based diet, but when you talk about clean sources of animal proteins, then with beef, you would want to go with grass-fed organic. Chicken, you would want to go with either organic or cage-free, same with eggs. And you want to make sure that your dairy as well is either organic or certainly not given that bovine steroid hormone. So all those things can play a role because we certainly don't want the unhealthy substances in us. You know, in our country, our babies are born with over 250 chemicals in their umbilical cord. There's something not right about that. And so understand that even though individually some of those toxins may not play a huge role, cumulatively over our whole lifetime, it can make a difference. So think in terms of what things you're taking into your mouth, your skin, and trying to decrease the toxins there. And we certainly can talk more about that, but also what you take into your mind, because your mindset is huge. And you know that what you think on grows. And you can look at the glass half empty or half full. But when you look at it as half empty and you see the negative side of things, you will stress, you will perceive that as stress. Your body will then kick out stress hormones. Stress hormones literally increase your unhealthy sugars and fats in the bloodstream. They're supposed to be preparing you for fight or flight. So they do that, but they also decrease the immunity in the immune cells. So that's why stress is not good for you. And by the way, one of the biggest stresses in our country is lack of sleep too. So stress comes in more than an emotional form. And it could be physiological, environmental as well. So I encourage people to also be able to get in their healthy omegas, their healthy fats. There's healthy and unhealthy fats. So we'll part the waters. Your unhealthy fats are generally found in your baked goods, your processed foods, your fried foods, sorry. And your healthy fats are going to be found in raw or sprouted or soaked nuts and seeds. Okay, also avocados are healthy fat. Olive oil is healthy if it is not high heated. When you heat it at a high temperature, it changes the olive oil's composition. So olive oil is okay for sauteing, it's okay for using raw, very, very healthy that way. Also, extra virgin organic coconut oil is an excellent healthy fat as well. And there are other healthier fats that can be high heated, like grapeseed oil. You prefer something that is extra virgin, meaning it's not processed and all there. Keep in mind when you high heat, uh, things like, let's say, French fries. When you high heat, the potatoes, it forms a substance called acrylamide, which is a known carcinogen or cancer-causing agent. So those are some things to keep in mind, so far as healthy fats. So far as detoxification, I can certainly help people if they're interested in looking at a healthy, gentle detoxification program. I do believe that because our soil has been so nutrient depleted, our foods are not as rich in nutrients as they can be. In fact, an NHANES study showed just a couple years ago that 90% of Americans do not have the micronutrients in their blood that they need, and that can't be helping us. So certainly that's something that needs to be addressed as well. There's so many aspects that you can play a part in. And one other caveat on the healthy fats, there are plant omega-3s and there are marine omega-3s. So you need both. The omega-3s are anti-inflammatory, unhealthy fats are pro-inflammatory, and cancer is an inflammatory disease. So you want to have omega-3s, but the reason you need some marine omega-3s or from wild fish, like wild salmon is one of the best sources, wild, is less contaminated with mercury, PCBs, and so forth. But the omega-3s do have different, the marine lipids do have different omega-3s than the plant ones. Plant omega-3s like in walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, and all excellent. In fact, I call ground flaxseed nature's tamoxifen because it literally binds to the estrogen receptors and blocks the unhealthy estrogen from attaching and stimulating abnormal growth. So I recommend 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed every day. It is a wonderful thing to help prevent hormonally induced cancers in men and women. So there's healthy, unhealthy, and same goes in the arena of one last thing I want to touch on in reference to breast cancer. Legumes, are plant sources of wonderful fiber and protein. And that's your dry beans and all, and legumes, one of which that's very, very important is organic soy. We find that organic or non-GMO or sprouted or fermented soy, as in, organic sprouted tofu, tempeh, miso, or non-GMO organic soy milk. These things are also beneficial, much in the same way that flaxseed is. It attaches to the estrogen receptors and blocks the unhealthy estrogen from attaching and stimulating abnormal growth. To date, there have been over 50 studies, peer-reviewed, that have demonstrated a decrease in not only breast cancer, but breast cancer reoccurrence with the use of healthy forms of soy. So again, part the waters, there's healthy and unhealthy soy. So I wanted you all to know that because there's a lot of misinformation floating around, a lot of lumping together of everything and throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So there is a difference between healthy and unhealthy. So I hope this gives you a little bit of information about the impact that you can have with what you do with your body and what you do with your fork and what you put on your body. And I didn't even get too much into that, but please feel free and reach out to me. You can reach out to me by phone or email. My phone number is 703-505-1481. And I do have a private Facebook group called The Wellness Path, where I do put some natural health information there. So again, thank you for your time. And I hope that this has been benefit to you, that you've gained a few pieces of information and tools that you can use to pick up and fight like a girl.